What's up, everybody? And welcome back to Mommy Confessions. I am that chick, Angel, and I'm joined by my other host. Go ahead and introduce yourself, love.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dinora Walcott.
And you?
Hi, everybody. I'm Quin Walters.
And we're back! Yes! Oh, my goodness.
So exciting.
First of all, outside of virtual, have we all three ever did an episode together?
No. Oh, my God. Virtual.
This is our first time
This is
doing an
our
episode with
first.
all three of us in the same room.
That's crazy.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh, my gosh.
I love us.
Oh my goodness. So if this is your first time watching, you are in for a treat. Just to give you a little backstory, Mommy Confessions is something I started when my twins were about 2 years old. They're 8 now. And originally it was just me having conversations with different girlfriends. So I was interviewing them in my living room, asking them questions about their walk into motherhood and all the things. That got very taxing. Trying to book people all the time. And I was like, who would I enjoy just to have real honest conversations with? And I always have great conversations with Dinora. Me and her can talk for 2 hours on the most random topics. Do you understand? And then the same thing with my twin, my love, Quin. There's something about her and I, we're so similar yet so different. Same thing with Dinora. And so it brings just such great, unique perspectives to every conversation. So I asked them if they would join me as regular host on Mommy Confessions. So you will be seeing them all the time.
Which is so fun.
It's such a good time. We'll still also have guests every now and again, but we really just want to be able to have really good, authentic conversations in a safe space around womanhood, around motherhood, especially being Black women. There's a lot of spaces where women who don't look like us are having conversations, and a lot of times they don't sound like the conversations that we're having. There's some of the things that they are worried about, some of the things that they are passionate about just don't reflect the things that are on my mind as a day-to-day, just every day as a woman. So
For sure.
enjoy the ride. You can find this show now currently on I'm making things up. You can you can find this show visually on YouTube, on Mama Likes TV on YouTube, as well as on Facebook on Mommy Confessions. And then you can listen to it wherever podcasts are found. If this is your first time, I have 31 episodes with just these two women.
Did we do 31?
We did not do 31 episodes, sis.
I went back and looked.
I would have never guessed 31.
No.
31. It was alternating. I don't think, I have to look back to see if there was any where you all weren't there, but yeah, 31. And then I have about, I want to say close to 100 before then. Like there are so many episodes. I said,
Now that you say that, that makes sense. Because in totality, okay, it makes sense.
It was a lot. I went over on Facebook and saw Mommy Confessions, the show page has 121,000 followers.
Ooh, yes.
I said, well, we're uploading again, guys. We're here.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a Mother's Day treat, and we typically start every episode off of Mommy Confessions with a confession. And we all are going to do that. And I'm going to start off because mine is terrible. And I just needed not to leave a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all know I'm a mother of 4. If you didn't, I am. I'm a mother of 4.
Yeah.
And I was, why was I leaving the house? Anyways, we were in a rush to leave the house. And Amar left out with his twin brothers. Then little Marcus left out. And my husband was not even at home. I don't even know where he was at. And then I come out about 5 minutes later. And I'm like, oh, God, we're about to be late. I start the car. I put it in reverse. I start the car. I roll down Marcus's window because it's hot. I roll down mine. I put it in reverse. And I hear from the outside, Mommy, where are you going? I slam on the brake. I put the car in park. And I look in the car seat. And I see Amar is not there.
Oh, no.
Angel. That baby was in the driveway, waiting by his door.
Oh, no, nobody let him in.
Nobody let him in. You talking about, I wanted to go in my backyard and bury myself. I wanted to just dig a good old ditch and get inside of there and cover myself up with dirt. I was like, and little Marcus could see my soul leave me.
Oh, no.
And he was just like, he buckled his seatbelt. He went and got him all, buckled him in. I was just like, all right.
All right.
All right.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I can imagine.
Marcus was like, I called my husband. I told him, I said, the baby was in the driveway. I said, I thank God that I didn't roll over his feet or anything like that. Thank God the windows were down so I could hear him.
Yep.
Because he was like, Mommy, where are you going? I was like, ah! And Marcus was like, that's some mother of four shit right there. He was like, it's a lot of kids, babe. It's a whole lot of kids.
Oh my God.
I mean, I felt terrible. Listen, somebody said, thank God. Oh, if you didn't know, you can watch Mommy Confessions be filmed live if you're a part of my Patreon, which is www.patreon.com/thatchickangel. So sorry, my brain just said, you can watch it live. Praise God, I have a newer car, so I knew nothing was behind me because it shows me before I even come up out of gear. But I couldn't see what was beside me because my side view mirrors, he was just underneath the gaze of that. So completely.
Even Mr. Marcus didn't remember the baby?
He wasn't with us.
Little Marcus.
Oh, little Marcus.
It was my children that came out, and I assumed because he is their brother, and they usually, that they would have assisted. I don't know how no one walked past him, but he was at his car door waiting for
waiting for entry.
Oh,
He was like, well, chivalry is dead.
yes. Oh, yes. So I definitely was like,
Of course.
but we are here now, and everyone is alive. So there's my confession. So you all don't have to feel bad about anything. Dinora, tell us what your confession is.
So this confession actually reminds me of a conversation we had probably on Mommy Confessions years ago about reading to your children. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was like, oh yeah, I read to Ray all the time. And at the time you were like, yeah, I don't do that. I don't have time for that. And I was like, what? Well, I don't really read to my son. And I didn't realize that I wasn't reading to my son until recently. It's just like, life is chaotic and there's so many things to do and so many things to remember. And by the time it's like bedtime, it's like, okay, everybody just please go to sleep. And then I was like, I got all these books and I don't recall picking up a book to read to this baby.
Never.
Hardly ever. So I said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to start reading these stories. And so we've started, but he's 3+, and it's been a lot of time. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
He also used to throw books a lot. I used to try to read to him initially, and he was like, ha ha, and he would just fling the book across the room.
Look at you blaming it on him
It's
now.
his fault. It wasn't me. It was the
actually,
baby.
I did try to read to him. He was destructive.
Baby confessions. He is the problem. It's pretty much what it's all about.
Listen, I think that is amazing that you are also reading. Yes, baby, because let me tell you about what this baby did.
See?
Okay.
Little trash ass child. But that's good. Has it been successful? Do you feel like you able to?
It's he now has started to have some favorites, which is lovely. So yeah, but it also makes me go, wow, ain't nobody reading to you at all. But they're reading to you in school.
Oh man. Oh goodness.
Oh my gosh.
That's my confession.
Quinn, what's yours?
Oh my gosh, you guys. I am 50% proud of this and I'm 50% not proud of this. Okay. So I go into Staples and I am what I think is kind of cute. I'm not like doing it, but I'm not like bumming it either.
You never do that.
I just got on clothes, but I also got my shades on. You know what I'm saying? I got my little handbag. I think I'm cute. I'm going to print out a little document. And so I'm behind the scanner. I'm doing my thing. And I have my glasses on. I have my purse on. I'm in my swag, I think. This lady walks up to me and she was like, excuse me, can you tell me if I said, I don't work here. And it was the way because I love people and I'm kind. But in that moment,
she said, well, you not
something came out of me and I was embarrassed for a second. And I was just like, I don't work here. I said, girl, I don't work here. I literally said, this is an elderly woman. And I said, girl, I don't work here. Like, as if there's nothing wrong with working at Staples.
But even if Quinn worked at Staples, she wouldn't look like she worked at Staples.
I have on sunglasses. Who walks up to anybody with sunglasses on in any establishment thinking that they work there? I'm a patron, obviously.
These are patron sunglasses.
Hello. And so then, this is what really made me feel shitty, is that
it wasn't that.
As soon
Okay.
It's this. And then she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I was like, fuck, I'm an asshole. And I was just like, oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, no, the workers are over there trying to clean it up.
The employees that you're looking for?
Baby, that initial, the way I
clutched them pearls
to Chi-Town. Girl, I don't work. I mean, it was just a little bit. It was. I'm embarrassed.
It snatched you all the way into another element.
And I was just like, who is this? But I think it's me being 40. I think it's me just, being in a different space in life. Mm-hmm. And don't make any assumptions, people. Mm-hmm. Don't assume. Don't assume I'm working at Staples. Don't do that.
I was afraid it was going to be something worse. So I'm so glad it was just she didn't know that you didn't work there. Because I'd be afraid that somebody's going to be like, what's your pronoun before I start? I feel like somebody's going to do that to me. And I'm going to be like, I feel like I've presented myself in a way for you to make an assumption. And I don't know if you're doing that just because you're just that ethical and you ask everyone, or if it's because I have not fully waxed my face.
And see, I feel that way about ma'am. Like when people younger than me call me ma'am, like the first part of me is like, and then the next part is like, they're being respectful. I get it. But my first reaction is, who? What?
Oh, I love it.
Who is it? What?
I don't care. If you're 100 years old and you call me ma'am, I'm like, that's right. Respect me, you elder. Like, Dinora's like,
I like ma'am.
I'm just saying, my first is like, but then it's like, oh, right. You're not.
Because your first reaction is because you think people think you are old.
Yeah. Because that's, I called people ma'am who were clearly older than me. And that is what's happening. Like the people that are calling me ma'am, like they're younger than me. But in my head, I'm still the one who's like, oh, I got it.
You're 14 in your head.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? But it's only just that first like, huh. Oh, right.
Honey.
People started calling me ma'am at 18 and I loved it.
Oh,
what?
Like,
thank you.
At 18?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, you got to understand, I became an aunt when I was 6.
Oh.
So you've been ma'aming for a long time.
So even then, it was yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Yeah.
But like people not knowing me, calling me, oh, yeah. Because then I started, substitute teaching? You substitute taught too. And when I was 20. So in Kentucky, you saying yes, ma'am, no, ma'am to the teachers.
They don't say ma'am in Boston.
Yeah.
In New England, that's not the vernacular that is used.
Excuse me.
That's the reason why that woman didn't even say ma'am to Quinn. And she was like,
but it was the way I grabbed my chest. I just, Quinn, don't do that. I've never done that before.
Look, Quinn's authentic self rose up out of her.
It's like, who is this person?
I wish I had been a patron in the store and saw that happen.
Listen, it was a couple next to me at the other Xerox machine. They were busting up at me, and I was just like, y'all, I
do not work here.
I don't know what to say. I got glasses.
I got sunglasses. Who works with sunglasses?
Oh, I love it. Well, we're trying out a new segment on our first episode back, and it's called Nature's Alternative. We have a resident hippy dippy over here.
Can't you tell?
Our fabulous Dinora Walcott, who I'm telling you, there could be something that you could easily buy at the store. Dinora's like, no. Let me see what happens if I grow the essential part of it, grind it up in a little bowl, and then add
mortar and pestle.
Yes, there we go. The mortar. That's what I was looking for. Yes. And this is how you know, because she's got one at home that is used.
It's marble. It's very heavy.
Yes.
It's very efficient.
And efficient.
Yeah, you knew. You got one too, huh?
I don't, but I know.
This one does, okay? She is going to mix it, blend it, and make it herself.
True.
So in this segment, Dinora's going to give us a couple of, like a hack or two, or just a hack on something that is a commonly used product that you can have a more natural version at home?
So this one, I'm going to bet that everybody has this in their home already. It's something that most people have around. I'm not going to tell you what that is. First, I'm going to tell you what you're going to replace. So for mouthwash, when you brush your teeth, a lot of people use mouthwash. Well, if you ever look at the ingredients list on mouthwash, I don't know what half of that stuff is. And I'm like, why does that need to be on my teeth, on my skin, and my mouth? What is this for? And it's like, don't swallow. Oh, it's terrible. It's toxic. But use it to clean your teeth. It's great. One really wonderful replacement is hydrogen peroxide. The regular old 3% in the brown bottle. When you look at the label, it's called an oral debridging agent, and it's for rinsing your mouth. And it also keeps your teeth very white. So you're not going to swallow it. Some people, they mix it with water. They dilute it with water. I don't, and I haven't for years. I've been using it for years and years and years. And my teeth have stayed very healthy, very strong. And I drink coffee, tea. Well, I've eased off of coffee, but tea stains a lot too. And it helps to keep my teeth nice and white. So hydrogen peroxide as a rinse after you brush your teeth. Now, it will bubble. It's going to bubble because it's getting rid of all that bacteria, all the things that you don't need in your mouth. But it's really, really a wonderful replacement.
You know what? I've only used hydrogen peroxide to either clean cuts or my ears. I've never used it in my mouth.
I always use it in my mouth.
You do?
Yes.
See,
I gargle with peroxide, rinse after brushing. Yep. It's one of those things. And I even disinfect my toothbrush with it. After rinsing it, I'll just pour some peroxide on it, make sure that's clean too. Yeah. It's really good. Yeah. And it does keep your teeth white.
Yep.
Listen, they have the whitest teeth of anybody. I'm going to do the rest of the episode like that.
Angel.
Because my teeth are not as white as that.
Your teeth are white.
They're not as white as you are.
Stop talking like that.
I'm going to talk to the rest of the
But try it out. Let me know how it works for you guys.
I know that's great.
Yes, that's great.
Nature's alternative
with
Dinora. Thank you. So we're going to jump into the main topic. In celebration of Mother's Day, of course, we are all mothers, and we are grateful to be able to say that all of our mothers are still walking here on this earth with us, that we can call, talk to, hug on, love on. And I think for all of us, we've learned a lot about how we mother from our mothers. But I want to talk about both sides of the coin. What are things about how you were raised and how you watched your mother? Well, you didn't really, because you're the youngest, but you got to watch your mother raise your younger brothers and sisters as well. What are ways in which you were like, or that you do like your mother, and what are ways that you were like, but what I'm not going to do is this? I'll start with the not going to do while you all percolate in your mind your answers. My mother moved a lot when I was younger because she's a contractor. As far as in her work, she is typically never an employee of a place. She is there for a contracted period of time. And so my mother's different work contracts would move us around. So between K through 12, I went to 12 different schools because we moved around a lot. Oh, yeah, it was a lot. I had to get really good at making friends really fast. I had to, even though I would get nervous first day of school, I knew I had to power through it and try to connect with folk. So I am hyper aware and hyper vigilant at keeping my children's environment extremely stable and not changing. Now, granted, the twins have changed schools a lot for them just to be in the second grade, but a lot of that is due to the pandemic. But we're now about to have them at a school that, everything goes well. They won't change schools ever again. Amar, same thing. When he enters into kindergarten, he'll be more than likely, unless he makes a huge stink about it, like going into high school, which some kids do when they're at the same school. He will be at the same school, K through 12. And that was one thing that and even how I approach my kids' education, I'm very involved. I'm a huge parent volunteer. They be seeing my face
very active.
I'm like,
all the time.
In the hell does she have time?
Y'all know who my kids are. Hello, you know
That's
my
right.
name.
That's
Amen.
Right.
My mother was, because she was a single mom, she wasn't capable capable of doing that. I don't even know if that was a desire of hers either, because it wasn't like it was modeled for her. But I would watch the white kids' mamas come in all the time with the snacks and the flowers for the teacher. And I was like, that seems dope. And I can see how the teacher is responding. Like, even then I was able to check how the teacher then responds to the mother. And then that also affects how the teacher responds to the child. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yup. I'm going to be all up in that piece when I have kids. So that was one thing that, and not knocking my mother, she did what she had to do. But for me growing up, I was like, I don't really want my kids to have that, like that uneasiness at the top of every school year of trying to get to know people. So that was one way that I was like, I'm not, that, you know, God bless my mother. I'm glad she did what she had to do.
Yep.
I ain't doing that.
Yep. Amen.
You guys.
One thing I do, and I'm working to not do, my mother did not ask for help. She's someone who would like power through, figure it out, make it work, make it happen. My parents split when I was 9, so she was a single mom from 9 on. And she she handled business. Like, you wouldn't look at her and be like, oh, that must be tough. Mm-hmm. You would never, ever look at her and think that. But she also never asked for help. And I've definitely adopted that method to not ask for help. I've been yelled at by you.
Absolutely.
Numerous times about not asking for help.
Absolutely.
And I am working on it. But it's just something that, like, it doesn't even dawn on me to ask for help. Mm-hmm. The idea doesn't even come to me to then be like, oh, but I'm not going to ask for help. That don't even come to my head. Mm-hmm. So when you've yelled at me about it in the past, I was like, oh, wait, people do that, huh? Yeah. People like reach out to their friends and stuff and ask for help. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I was like, you're not helping people know how to be a good friend to you. Mm-hmm. If you're not letting them know some of your areas of need. Not to say that other people have to be the one that rescues you, but it helps us to find out, like, oh, in this time,
right,
Dinora, it might be overwhelmed. She might not need me to do something for her, but just either giving her the space or checking on her or just something. Mm-hmm. And just to give a little backstory, Dinora was raised by a single mother, but went to private school, her and her sisters.
Yes.
And her mother wasn't working at NASA. She wasn't a partner at a law firm.
No.
But she made sure her children had top quality education in Boston, Massachusetts.
Amen.
Yeah,
Mama Minnie.
And she was very, very active. Like, you and my mom remind me of one another in a lot of ways like that. She was always at all of the things, making sure that I was always at all of the things. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, oh, how? What?
Yeah.
Very similarly, it's funny you said what you said, because I had that in my head. I was like, ooh, the parent-teacher thing coming up to the school. But then I erased it. It's still there. My mother was working when I was younger, and then I had 3 younger siblings right back to back to back. So she was a stay-at-home mom, so she wasn't able to come up to the school. My dad was working multiple jobs, so they were not those parents. And I was like, I definitely want to be there for Aria. I definitely want to show up and do the whole thing. So I'm that parent. I'm like you. I'm there at the school. They know me. The kids know me. I'm like, hey, Johnny. Hey, Tasha. Hey,
come on. That's right.
Hey, you know, Aria's mom. Yeah. And so she got back up. And so I think that's very important. But what I do want to mention is that when I had my daughter, and my parents, I love y'all. Y'all were amazing. Okay, let's start there. But what they didn't do was they didn't push me into what I feel like I naturally showed interest in, right? You know what I'm saying? So, like, I went on one audition when I was 7, and it was a bust because it was one of those scam companies. It was like, if you come, bring your kids in, take pictures, and pay us $700, and we'll make sure that your kid gets on TV. That's a scam.
We did that scam.
You know what I'm saying? And so they didn't pay the money, which I was like, pay the money. Give them the money. Give them the money. I want to be on TV. I want to do a Colgate commercial. And they were like, nah. And so they knew they had the wherewithal. They had the knowledge and the wisdom. And so they were like, no, this doesn't seem so right. Obviously it wasn't. But so then anything that I ever did after that, dance, step team, drill team, theater, chorus, everything that I've ever, poetry slams, anything that I've ever done, student council, I put myself in it. And I don't have a problem with that. But I then, when I look at my daughter and I see the things that she's naturally gravitating towards and things that she's interested in, I push her towards it. I sign her up for the violin. I sign her up for dance. I sign her up for gymnastics. Sign her up for tennis. And so to see.
Oh, you got to just move. Hold on. Say sign her up for tennis.
Yes. And I sign her up for tennis to see, what she's really going to stick with, what she really wants to do, but giving her that extra push. And that's just what I wish my parents would have given me. Because I was very active. I'll list, I was very active in elementary school, high school, and college. I was in everything all the time. And great. But I also wonder, how far could I be if I had a little bit of help, a little bit of push, a few more classes earlier on, a little bit more training sooner. So that would definitely be a thing that I would.
Me and my mother have had that type of conversation of I wish she was a little bit more of a stage mom. Of like, oh, you want to do this? Well, come on, chop, 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 chop. So I was the same way of like putting myself. I remember because we did do one of those scam things. Had a competition in Florida. One
paid the money.
No, of course they paid me no money.
I'm saying your mama paid the money.
Yes, paid the money. Had auditions in Florida. This thing still exists, but they rebranded, and there were cast directors there, and they were like, "If you ever come to New York, let us know." And the agency in Lexington was like, "So you didn't do anything with?" I was like, "Y'all are my agents. What are y'all talking about?"
Oh wow!
So it didn't amount to anything. But however, my mother, after I moved out here and I started working, I remember her saying, "Could you imagine if we would have moved out here when you were a teenager?" And
no, don't say that.
Don't do that, Mama.
I said, actually, I'm not going to, for the sake of both of us. I'm not going to imagine what it would have been like for me to have been in a movie with Angela as a child, to be a Disney star. Oh. Huh? I could have been done, did drugs, and got off of them by now. Could have been done.
What is wrong with you?
Could have been done, did all of that, had my whole redemption, and been crying at the Oscars, talking about when I was at my lowest at the Betty Ford Clinic. And I looked up to the heavens and I said, "God, enough."
I can't
They don't do that for black people, though.
They don't.
So that wouldn't work.
Yeah, they stay on drugs.
They wrangle us, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like,
you would have
been
wrangled.
They would have been wrangled. But I would have came back with some tattoos. I would have been more risque.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Titties all out. Yeah.
I would have had a music album because all of them would do.
You would have definitely.
I would have been like,
would have had a pop
no
album.
more little girl. No more little girl. I've been living in your world.
Right. And we would have been right there.
I hate it and I love it so much. I hate and love it so much.
Hate and
love it. Dinora, what is something that your mom did that you are just like, Mama, like if people need to write this down as a playbook because this is what I am doing that I feel like you did well.
Oh, my mom, I mean, it was kind of like leading off of the other thing that I said. She showed up looking amazing all the time.
Still do.
Just her aura I think she exudes confidence and she's so kind and she's just like, she's so involved and engaged in whatever it is that she's doing. Like she doesn't just show up and be there halfway, partway at all. Whether that's for good or for bad, whether she wants to argue or whether she wants to support someone. And also the way that she encouraged me through my whole life. Like, I was just thanking her recently because a lot of times she would compliment me or tell me that I was really talented or that I could do such and such. And I'd always be like, okay, Mom, thinking like she's my mom. She has to say these things. And then I realized, no, you don't. Because if your kids are not talented, you don't have to say they're talented.
No.
And I saw my daughter, Rhea played the piano.
So good. I was
at her
like,
school. Yes. And I suddenly was filled with what my mom had been expressing to me all those years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I called and apologized to her. I was like, yo, okay, so I get it. I get it now. Like when you really see that that thing, you get so excited. Like, I want the world to see this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, her support and her whole aura. I'm just like, get it, Minnie Belle. Get it, girl.
Listen, something about Minnie Belle. You know how Quinn clutched her proverbial pearls and say, Mama Minnie would have actually had pearls too clutch. Too clutch. She stayed with the pearls. She would have actually, you would have heard the pearls actually clutch
clink.
up. Nobody would have ever. Someone would be like, so is this one of the staples you own? That is what your mother looks like. Do you own multiple chains of these?
It's your
Right?
space.
Yeah. That is what she looks like. Like, yeah, I opened up this. Actually, I'm about to tear it down and make it equinox. But to the point that what you said, not only do some moms not even like, I guess, gas up their children when they are actually talented. Some are actual haters.
That's true.
Ooh, some
That's
are
very true.
True and utter haters that are just like, oh, you think good of yourself? Let me help you.
Bring you back
let me
down
bring
to
you back
size.
down
Yes.
because I have not yet figured out how to love myself. So I'm going to rip you to shreds.
That is so true. I've seen
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
I will name no names, but I have seen that firsthand, and it's devastating.
Yeah.
It's devastating to watch.
Yeah. One of the things that I am so like grateful for my mom for, and I'm actually struggling to try to replicate it because it can't be replicated. But my sense of faith is something that my mother not only instilled but demonstrated. She is still an example of unshakable faith, and trying to give that, like, it feels like an inheritance, and trying to give that to my kids is so much harder. The one time I saw it and I was just like, oh, Marcus, where was I taking him? I don't know if I was taking him to a track meet. I don't know where we were going, but it was something where he was going to have to show and prove. And I looked in the car. I was outside of the car, and I looked in the car, and I saw his head down, and I saw his hands like this. And I waited a second, and then I was like, are you praying? And he was like, oh, yeah. I was like, I was like, thank you, Jesus. Because sometimes I'm like, I'm screwing the pooch. Because he doesn't have the type of, listen, there are parts of my childhood church life that I do not want my children to have. But there is a part of it that I love. There was a sense of community that I still have with these people. There is a sense of like, I am tethered to something that when I feel wobbly, that still feels strong,
It's
right?
the foundation, yes.
Yeah. And that is so hard. Church is very different in LA. And then also just some of my beliefs have evolved, and I just want to make sure. And then also people just be making up stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Hello?
And I don't want to put my children in that line of fire of just being thrown at a lot of things that I don't prescribe to, and that I just don't want them having to weed through. Obviously, when they get older, they will choose what their walk looks like. But what I want to give them now is a piece of what I got from my mother.
Yes.
And I'm realizing how much more difficult that is. But the fact that I saw my 13-year-old praying on his own,
Yeah.
I just was like, okay, I haven't messed up yet. I haven't messed up fully.
No.
You know, so yeah, it is definitely a lot. It's a lot harder, and I don't have as many touch points. So, and then I'll shut up so you can talk, Quinn. I realized that growing up, especially growing up in Kentucky, you have a lot of touch points that remind you of whatever your beliefs are if you are a Christian. So it's not just in church. You will have touch points and friends that don't go to your church because there's so many people who kind of believe like you. Or you'll have a touch point with maybe your hairstylist also has the same belief. So it might be something of she's playing gospel music in her shop. There are so many touch points where it doesn't just have to necessarily come from you being indoctrinated in the church. It is a part of the culture that you are in. In LA, there are very few touch points for my children. So it's like there is a window of a lot of stuff, which is beautiful, but like trying to find the places where they can have touch points, where they can have conversations with other people that have at least similarities. They don't have to be the exact same, right. Is a lot harder. So anyways, that's what I would like to do, like my mother. What about you? How would you like to be like Iris?
Oh my gosh.
The kitty.
I have to say this because I just mentioned how when I was a kid, I didn't get that push, but oh Lord, don't do it, Quinn.
It's fine.
I just want to say these eyelashes.
We got glue, girl. I stay with a thing of glue.
I hate you, Angel. Shit. I didn't get the push when I was little. But my parents gave me the most important push, which was when I was in college. I was pre-med, and I love science. I was so great at science, and I wanted to be a doctor. And I was killing biology. I was killing all my classes, but chemistry, baby, I was failing chemistry, okay? I had never gotten an F in my life. I never got a D, nothing like that. And then here I go, failing chemistry. So my dad was pissed. And he was like, he thought I was just not focused. I was in tutoring groups. I was in study groups. I was doing everything I could do to really pull up my chemistry grades. And nothing was working. So then one day he was like, okay, what you're not going to do is you're not going to waste my money. You're an actress. You've always been an actress. So what you're going to do is you're going to switch your major to theater, and you're going to major in theater, and that's what you're going to do because that's what you've been doing since you were a little kid, and that's what you're passionate about, and that's what you're good at. And so that's why I get so much. I cannot stand you, Angel. That was pivotal for me because that propelled me into me being a confident artist and me feeling the confidence. Can't think of another word right now. My brain is fried. To move to LA right after college and to have that gumption and the spunk and the spark in me, that fire was lit, and knowing that I had the support of my mom, my dad, it was everything. That's why I'm here to this day, and they still fully support me with all the ups and downs in this business. And Lord have mercy.
There are so many.
Ups and downs. Okay? They have never wavered. They have never pulled away their support. They have never felt any regret. They're like, you got this, and you still got this, and you will always have this, and we got you, and we will always have you. And God, most importantly, has you. So I love y'all.
No.
And I hate you. I love you.
Oh, so let us know in the comments how what are things that you have gotten from your mother that you hope as a mom, or when you become a mom, or even if you're not, it's just in any role of caretaker that you want to be able to also possess and share with the person that you're taking care of. Where can people find you, Miss Dinora?
People can find me on Instagram. I'm most active on Instagram, but at Dinora Walcott. And that's pretty much across all platforms. I'm on Facebook. On YouTube, it's Dinora TV, but there's not a whole lot there. But you can just go over and just like have a good gander. And also, can I mention?
Yes, go ahead.
Also, my product line, Nora Made Goods, or Nora Made, if you can pronounce it that way. It's just how I pronounce it. But noramadegoods.com. You can check out my natural products. And I hope you're going to love them. Most people do. So go and get you some.
They're amazing, amazing products.
We use them.
Yay! Yes, my daughter and I, we use them. Oh, natural.
Yes.
Yeah, you have some. Listen,
even
amen.
she got some. You guys can find me, my crying ass, on Instagram at Quin Walters, and that's Quin with one N. I have to say that. And please also follow my apparel line. Beyond Pretty on Instagram. Please, at Beyond Pretty. We have hoodies, t-shirts, tote bags, and phone cases that say pretty brilliant, because we all are beautiful and we all are brilliant.
Come on.
Praise him.
You praise him. And where else?
Oh, and also you guys can find me on BET on Wednesdays on the House of Pain. I play Laura every Wednesdays. BET Plus. Thank you, Angel.
You're welcome.
I owe you 10%.
And you forgot something too.
And
Me?
you can also find me on Kev on Stage.
Oh, yes, on the Kev on Stage
Kev on
Studio
Stage.
streaming services app.
Yes.
Yeah, you can find me. Are we talking about TV shows? That's what we're talking about?
I was talking about your other business.
Yeah, girl.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Dinora.
Bless my
Not
brain.
you forgot.
Listen, I've been rushing all day, so I have my dress on inside out, you guys. Like, that's the kind of day that it started. It's the right way now, but it was inside out when I got here.
I bet you was still Kara.
And I saw a lot of people, and it was inside out. Oh my gosh. But also, I am an acting coach. So if you are looking for acting coaching, look at actinghonestly.com. You can find me there. But if you get lost, just go to Dinora Walcott on Instagram, send me a DM, ask your questions, and I'm going to direct you where you need to go.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. You can find me at That Chick Angel pretty much across all platforms. Even if that's not my handle, you'll find me. Definitely go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, That Chick Angel TV. Please subscribe to this channel if you're watching it on YouTube. If you're not, go over there anyways to Mama Likes TV, or follow us and like us on Facebook at Mommy Confessions. I don't remember if it has extra. I think Mommy Confessions Show. And this also has its own Instagram page, Mommy Confessions Show, I do believe as well. So follow us over there and interact with the content over there. You can find me on HBO on a Black Lady sketch show every Friday. Get into it.
Yes.
You can also find my self-care products, especially with the thought of mothers of color in mind, Mama Likes. You can go to shopmamalikes.com, as well as get more lifestyle content on Mama Likes TV. And you can follow it on Instagram as well.
Come on.
Last but not least, my husband and I are on tour. Yes, with our podcast. Is this going to cause an argument right now? The LA tickets are on sale for Patreon only. So if you're part of my Patreon, or if you're not, you can go ahead and join at patreon.com/thatchickangel. You can get your tickets. It's going to be one hell of a show. You don't want to miss it. We will be touring some other major cities later on in the summer, but those tickets aren't on sale yet. So make sure you go over there and get these pre-sale tickets. And
No joke. Like, seriously, go get tickets, because you're going to kick yourself.
It's such a good show.
It's such a good show. No BS. Not because we're like family, but like, it's so good, you guys. It is so good.
It's everything you want and then some.
And then some.
Like, seriously.
Get your tickets. It's scared. So make sure you look for the link. It'll be in the description box. I'll have the link everywhere. But and most importantly, Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Who's a mother to someone, and special thoughts, love, and prayers for those who are missing their mother this year, or your caretaker. Our love is there with you and for you. Please check us out next week on Monday for another episode of Mommy Confessions. Bye.
Bye.